What's up, everybody? Justin here, back with a new best of show. Last best of show was the best of the Road Warriors. Well, now I'm doing the best of Steve Austin, the best of stunning Steve Austin, and superstar Steve Austin when he was a part of ECW for a very short time in '95. So, best of stunning Steve Austin in WCW mostly and ECW. Steve Austin was also a part of USWA. They were right after WCCW, basically, I believe. If I remember the story right, Jerry Jarrett took over WCCW, bought him out, and called it USWA. It was still in the, what the hell is the name of that building? Not the Spectrum, Sportatorium. It was still, I believe, in Dallas, Texas at the Sportatorium where all the shows were for the USWA. So anyways, Steve Austin was there in 89 and 90 and not 91, but he might have been. So anyways, I got a Steve Austin DVD. Here it is. These are all his matches from USWA, the promotion that used to be WCCW, then is USWA. Anyways, Steve Austin on this DVD from all these matches are, I would guess, from 89 and 90. There's 5 Steve Austin matches on here against Bill Dundee, Gary Young, against Chris Adams, Matt Bourne, and Eric Embry against Jimmy James, whoever the hell that is. I never heard of him. And Chris Adams again, and Chris Von Erich. Also, Steve Austin on his DVD teamed up with Percy Pringle, who would go on to become Paul Bearer. That's pretty weird. They were a tag team. I don't even remember Percy Pringle wrestling, but I believe he did for a short time. He was a really good manager and a damn good talker in USWA. So I'm not including Steve Austin's USWA matches. He did have a really good feud with Chris Adams there. And Chris Adams at the time was married, I believe, to his ex-wife, Jeannie. A nice looking, from London, from the UK, a nice looking blonde. Very busty, very attractive. Anyways, Chris Adams' wife, or maybe she's his ex-wife, would eventually go with Steve Austin and marry him. So anyways, USWA Steve Austin matches, they were okay. He was like a rookie still. Now to Steve Austin in WCW, the best of stunning Steve Austin. That guy was a different worker. He was not the brawler he became as Stone Cold Steve Austin. Even Stone Cold in 96, 97, he was still a pretty good technical wrestler. But then he got dropped on his head by Owen Hart, and he had to become a brawler and change his style. Anyways, when he was in WCW as Stunning Steve, he was a great technical wrestler. He was really, really damn good. So up first, the best of stunning Steve Austin in WCW. These are some of my favorite stunning Steve Austin matches he had in WCW. I'll just name a few and give you a few to check out if you've never seen them. A lot of these, I would say 99% are on the WWE network to watch. The only match that is not on the network, hell, maybe it is if you do a search of it. I don't know. But Steve Austin as Stunning Steve on June 3rd, 1991, WCW Worldwide Wrestling. Steve Austin took on Bobby Eaton for the WCW TV title. Steve Austin won the TV title, his first singles title in WCW, June 3rd, 1991. Defeated Bobby Eaton. Now, I don't know if the match is on the network, but it is on a Steve Austin DVD, The Stone Cold Truth. That match is on there where he wins a TV title. So, again, as from WCW Worldwide, June 3rd, 1991. Maybe the match is on YouTube if you can't find it on the network. Steve Austin, Bobby Eaton. Again, June 3rd, 91 for the TV title. Up next, more best of stunning Steve Austin. Let's go to Halloween Havoc. 1991 was a really good TV title match. I think it went off. I think it was a time limit draw. I'm not sure. I don't really remember the finish. I feel like I don't know why. I kind of remember it was like a time limit draw or went 15 minutes, or maybe Steve Austin wanted the last minute. I haven't watched the match in a few years, but I remember it was really good. For the TV title, Steve Austin, Stunning Steve Austin, took on Dustin Rhodes. Both of these guys were still like rookies, and they're both in their prime. It was pretty damn good. Halloween Havoc 91, Steve Austin, Dustin Rhodes for the TV title. Let's jump to 1992. Steve Austin and Ravishing Rick Rude, they were a part of the Dangerous Alliance by this time. So the first Clash of Champions of 92, Clash of Champions 18, January 92, Steve Austin, Rick Rude took on Sting and Ricky Steamboat in the main event. It was really good. Crowd was pretty hot. Let's go to Steve Austin against in the War Games. Steve Austin in the Dangerous Alliance against Sting's team. It was fucking awesome. It was a bloodbath. It was bloody. It was awesome. It was just great. It was a great War Games. One of my favorite War Games matches, 92. Steve Austin bled a lot. His Stunning Steve. He was bleeding a hell of a lot. And before the War Games, he was like always wearing like, I don't know what to call them, like spandex bicycle shorts. But then at War Games 92, he was in wrestling trunks. So more best of Steve Austin. Beach Blast 92. It was a 6-man tag. I want to say it was Steve Austin, Arn Anderson, Larry Zbyszko, I think, against Ricky Steamboat. Against, I think, Barry Windham, Nikita Koloff, Dustin Rhodes. That was Beach Blast 92, pretty good 6-man tag. Let's jump to November 1990, or no, let's jump to, that was 92. Beach Blast 92, let's jump to 1993. Stunning Steve Austin, Brian Pillman, the Hollywood Blondes. This was on Clash of Champions 23. Arn Anderson, Ric Flair, the Horsemen got back together at the Clash 23 June 17th, 93. Clash 23. Hollywood Blondes defended against Ric Flair, Arn Anderson. 2 out of 3 falls. It was really fucking good. So let's go to Beach Blast 93 for the WCW tag titles. The Hollywood Blondes again up against defending the tag titles against Arn Anderson and Paul Roma. It was really fucking good for the tag titles. I believe it went like 20 to 30 minutes. That was a really good match. Let's jump to November 1993. Stunning Steve Austin by himself. Hollywood Blondes broke up. That was a mistake, but they broke them up. Stunning Steve got a manager, Colonel Robert Parker, for some reason, but okay. He took on Brian Pillman, his former partner, November 1993 Clash of Champions. The match wasn't very long. It wasn't bad, but it could have been a lot better. Let's jump to still in 93. On WCW Saturday Night, I don't know the date. I think it was in like August or July, I think. Anyways, Stunning Steve Austin on WCW Saturday Night in 93 against Sting. I don't know the month, but it was in 93. I believe that's like the only singles matchup Steve Austin had on TV or pay-per-view with Sting was on a Saturday night's WCW Saturday Night. So let's jump to 94. Stunning Steve Austin, Rick Rude, Paul Orndorff in the Thunderdome cage took on the team of Dustin Rhodes, Sting, Brian Pillman, Super Brawl 4, Super Brawl 94. Really good 6-man tag in the Thunderdome cage. The crowd was pretty fucking hot. Steve Austin again and Brian Pillman hooked up in the Thunderdome cage, went after each other. It was pretty awesome. So let's jump to Slamboree 94. Stunning Steve Austin, Johnny B. Bad for the U.S. title. It was really, really good. I think it was a disqualification or time limit draw finish. Let's go to a Clash of Champions in 1994. Or let's go to Bash at the Beach, 94. Stunning Steve Austin, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat for the U.S. title. It was really fucking good. Let's go to August 1994. I believe is August 24th. 94 Clash of Champions, Ricky Steamboat. Stunning Steve Austin again for the U.S. title. It was really good matchup. I don't want to talk about, and I am not including, Steve Austin losing to Hacksaw Jim Duggan at Fall Brawl 94. Losing in like 28, 30 seconds to Hacksaw for the U.S. title. That is embarrassing, and I'll never speak of it again. Nothing against Hacksaw. I like the guy. The guy's a Hall of Famer really tough guy. And he was super over too. But Hacksaw shouldn't have defeated Steve Austin. I guess Bischoff wanted to bury him because he knew Steve Austin was going to leave, or they had nothing planned for Steve Austin. That was a big mistake. So Steve Austin losing to Hacksaw Jim Duggan, I believe at Fall Brawl 94. That was his final, I think, TV match in WCW. As Steve Austin has said many times, he was fired by Bischoff from a FedEx letter to his house because he had a torn bicep or something, or messed up elbow or torn bicep. He couldn't compete. So Bischoff sent him a letter basically saying you're in breach of your contract because you are injured and can't compete. That was so wrong to do that to him. I'm really glad now wrestlers are not fired because they get injured. So now let's jump to... I did all my favorite Steve Austin matches from WCW. One more. I think it was December 94. But maybe it was taped in November or October. I don't know. This might have been Steve Austin's last match. I'm not sure really. On WCW Saturday night in December 94, stunning Steve Austin took on the Macho Man Randy Savage. Pretty good match. I enjoyed it. It was pretty cool. Looking back on it, you had the future Stone Cold Steve Austin in the ring with Macho Man Randy Savage. Two icons of the business. So let's jump to the best of Steve Austin in the best of Steve Austin. One match I picked from his run in ECW. His matches weren't that good in ECW. I don't blame Mikey Whipwreck. He was a good worker. But he had to wrestle the Sandman. That was not good because the Sandman was probably drunk and couldn't wrestle. So anyway, and I was a fan of the Sandman. I was a mark for the Sandman. 20 years ago, 25 years ago, not 25, but I was a fan of the Sandman. When I first saw the guy and started watching ECW more, like watching ECW full time in 99, watching all their pay-per-views, I became a fan of the Sandman. And then he jumped ship in 99. He was gone. He was in WCW. But anyways, Sandman against Steve Austin was not a good idea. Steve Austin did his best work in ECW, not in the ring. He did it in promos. Some really epic, really funny, good promos. He's ripping, making fun of Bischoff, doing a parody of Eric Bischoff on WCW Nitro. It's like, this is WCW NyQuil. It'll put you to sleep. And Steve Austin had a Bischoff black wig on. He was like, this is WCW NyQuil because we'll put you to sleep. And he was talking about Mongol McMichael, and the commentary with him. And Steve Austin was like, we got bongo here. He had bongo drums. He started banging on the bongo drums. He's like, I got bongo here. It was hilarious. So the one match from Steve Austin in ECW that I will mention was for the ECW Championship at the November to Remember 95. Steve Austin against Mikey Whipwreck. And he was not stunning Steve. He was superstar Steve Austin. And Paul Heyman, he knew Steve Austin was pissed off at WCW and basically told the future Stone Cold, get everything off your chest in promos. I got a TV show. Why don't you come work for me in ECW? So Paul Heyman really, he saw something in Steve Austin. He let him cut just really good promos, and I don't know if the promos got Steve Austin hired by WWF, but Paul Heyman or Vince or Paul Heyman probably talked to each other in '95, and Vince was probably like, "What do you think about me hiring Steve Austin?" Paul Heyman probably put over Steve Austin because they were always good friends. But without ECW Steve Austin, without ECW Steve Austin and Paul Heyman helping him with promos, we would have never got Stone Cold Steve Austin, because those Steve Austin promos in ECW, those promos were definitely the future Stone Cold Steve Austin. And those promos and Steve Austin getting to cut those promos and have a lot of time to talk, that probably helped him a ton and gave him a ton of confidence. Because when you go to WWF, the ringmaster gimmick was just shit. It was stupid. He didn't need a manager. He didn't need Ted DiBiase. No disrespect to Ted DiBiase, the guy's a legend. But when he became Stone Cold '96, when he won the King of the Ring, and after that, into his feud with, Brian Pillman, and stomping on his ankle with a chair on his foot, Pillman's foot and ankle, and then he stomped on the chair. And then Steve Austin feuding with Bret the Hitman Hart and just cutting epic promos and cursing and just great. Stone Cold Steve Austin came out at the end of '96, in the summer of '96, and without his time in ECW, I don't think he would have had the confidence to cut those promos in the WWF in '96 without ECW and Paul Heyman helping him. Hope you enjoyed my best of stunning Steve Austin in WCW and ECW. These were all my favorite matches of stunning Steve Austin. Bye for now.